the most energized when we're sprinting through life? Hey fam, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Wanderlust Wealth Show. Today I'm going to be talking about this concept that the most productive moments that we have are when we are sprinting through it. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be sprinting every single second, every day of your life. That obviously just leads to burnout. We need breaks. There are moments and seasons too where it's good to have just some stability. But I found that, at least for me in particular, the moments where I'm sprinting, I am working towards a goal and I'm grinding towards that goal are the most productive moments of my life. And I want you to think about this. So think about when you're at work and a vacation is coming up, right? Like, you're leaving this Thursday, it's Tuesday. You're trying to wrap everything up. You're knocking out meetings, you're knocking out documents, you're closing things up, wrapping them up in a nice little bow. You are being the most productive that you have been in months. Like, you got more done in these 3 days than you did in the last 4 weeks. Now, why is that? It's because of that deadline that you set for yourself. As human beings, we don't work really well if there are no deadlines. Think about when you were in college and you had a project and, there's this final project coming up. You did not spend the whole semester working on this project. If you're anything like me, you waited until like the last week to crank this stuff out, and you were able to get 90% of the project done within that last week. Or for example, I remember when I was in high school. So I moved to the US when I was 14, but I didn't do American high school. I went to a British school and then I went to an international school. But in order to graduate from the international school with an American diploma, I needed to take American history. And so they put me in like a college course for American history that I had to take online. And I signed up for this course. I think it wasn't even like at the beginning of the semester. I think it was at the beginning of the year. So I had a whole year to complete this thing. When did I complete this? Obviously, in the last 3 days before the deadline, I completed 2 college level courses at the age of 17. In American history, I took all of the classes, did all of the homeworks, and took the exams and passed it somehow. But I was only able to do that because of the self-imposed deadline. And so it gets really interesting when you become an entrepreneur or real estate investor and you don't have something like a job or a boss telling you what to do. Because especially during that first year of entrepreneurship, it can be really weird. Like, you don't have to do anything at the end of the day. Like, you really don't. You don't have to wake up early. You don't have to be at your job or on a meeting. And so that first year, it's really just kind of figuring out your schedule and building those boundaries for yourself so that you can actually complete tasks. Because as humans, we need those boundaries and we need those deadlines in order to get something done. And so even when I think about when I created my Wanderlust Wealth Academy course, which is just a course about beginner real estate investing, how to get started, investing in real estate, house hacking, minimizing your monthly expenses so that you can eventually quit your job, travel the world, all that stuff. But at first, when I had this idea, I had no deadline. I was traveling around Portugal. I was like, I'll get to it eventually. And then finally, I picked a date. I said, I am going to launch this course. It was like November 22nd or November 21st of 2023. And once I had that deadline set, it was freaking game time. It was October and I was like, okay, well, I gotta create this course because I've already told everyone that I'm coming out with this course on this date. And so nonstop, I was cranking out this course. But the thing is I had months before that to get started. Like, I came up with the idea in August or September. So I could have started working on it early September, really taken my time through it. But it wasn't until I created that deadline that made me sprint through it to actually get it done. Otherwise, it just would have been another thing that was just sitting on the to-do pile, right? And so I really think we're most energized and most effective when we have to go through these sprints through life. And that's when we're gonna see some of our best work. Now, it's usually not gonna be perfect, right? Like, when you're sprinting, you usually maybe stumble a little, your form isn't 100% the entire time, but you get a lot further and a lot faster. And then you can kind of come back and refine things and add things and do what you need to. And who knows, maybe some people do not feel this way, but I feel like for me personally, that is by far my most productive way of creating and doing work. Okay, so I end every episode of the Wanderlust Wealth series with some daily gratitude because daily gratitude changes your attitude. And for today, I'm just so thankful that this is what a beautiful winter day looks like right now. Like, how lucky. Literally, it feels fresh and lovely outside, which I was not originally expecting. Now, don't forget, y'all, life is just way too short to choose clouds.